What is Kaliyug? Once upon a time, in a peaceful village nestled among green hills, there lived a young boy named Aryan. Aryan was curious and bright, always asking questions about the world around him. His grandfather, an old man with white hair and kind eyes, would often tell him stories of great warriors, gods, and sages. One evening, as they sat by the fire, Aryan looked up and asked, "Grandfather, what is Kaliyug, and why do people talk about it with worry?" The old man smiled, stroking his long beard. "Kaliyug," he began, "is the age we live in now. It is said to be the last of the four yugas, or ages, in the cycle of time. It is a time when humanity faces the greatest challenges and struggles with greed, dishonesty, and conflict." Aryan's eyes widened with curiosity. But why is it called Kaliyug? What makes it so different from the other ages? His grandfather closed his eyes for a moment, as if recalling a distant memory. To understand Kaliyug, one must know the story of the great sage, Rishi Vyasa, who foresaw this age and tried to guide humanity through its trials. And so, the grandfather began the story. Many centuries ago, Rishi Vyasa, who wrote the Mahabharata, sat by the river Saraswati. He was troubled, for he could sense the arrival of Kaliyug, the age of darkness. He knew it would be an age when virtues like truth, kindness, and respect would start to fade. The sage meditated and prayed for guidance, seeking to understand how he could help future generations navigate through this challenging time. As he sat deep in meditation, a young boy appeared before him. The boy had a radiant smile and eyes full of questions, much like Aryan's. The boy was none other than Dhruv, known in legends as a star that shone brightly in the night sky because of his unwavering devotion. "Rishi Vyasa," Dhruv said, bowing respectfully, "why do you look so troubled?" The sage opened his eyes and sighed. "Dhruv, I am worried for the future. The age of Kaliyug is approaching, and I fear for humanity. It will be a time when lies will be seen as truth, and people will value wealth and power over compassion and honesty." Dhruv sat beside the sage, listening intently. "But, Rishi, if Kaliyug is coming, what can be done to protect the goodness within people's hearts?" The sage smiled faintly. "That is why I called upon you, Dhruv. You symbolize devotion and purity. I want to show you what Kaliyug will be like, so you can carry the message of hope to those who seek it." With a wave of his hand, Rishi Vyasa created a vision. The two of them were transported to a bustling city in Kaliyug. The city was noisy, filled with people rushing around. The streets were lined with shops and markets, and the air was thick with the smell of smoke and chatter. Dhruv noticed that while there was wealth and glitter, there was also sadness. He saw a man dressed in fine clothes pushing aside a beggar who asked for food. He saw children working in factories instead of playing in fields. He saw leaders making promises they did not intend to keep, and people arguing over the smallest matters. "This is Kaliyug," the sage said, his voice heavy. "An age where people forget the values of the past. Greed and selfishness replace kindness and unity. Families drift apart as everyone focuses on their own desires. Truth becomes rare, and those who speak it are often ignored." Dhruv felt a deep sadness in his heart. "Is there no hope?" Rishi, will people be lost forever in this darkness? Rishi Vyasa placed a comforting hand on Dhruv's shoulder. There is always hope. Even in Kaliyug, the light of truth and goodness can never be completely extinguished. There will always be people who seek to do good, who remember the teachings of the past, and who fight for justice and love. Suddenly, Dhruv noticed a young girl in the vision. She was giving her only piece of bread to a hungry dog. Her clothes were torn, and she had little to her name, yet she smiled as the dog wagged its tail. Dhruv's heart warmed at the sight. See that, Dhruv, the sage said with a glimmer of hope. That girl is a reminder that even in the darkest times, acts of kindness and compassion still exist. The goodness in people's hearts may be hidden, but it is never gone. Dhruv nodded, understanding now that Kaliyug was not just an age of darkness, but also an age of choice. It was a time when people could choose to be selfish or selfless, deceitful or honest. Rishi, Dhruv said with determination, I will carry this message. I will tell people that while Kaliyug is difficult, they must not forget the power of kindness and truth. I will remind them that every small act of good can bring light into this age. Rishi Vyasa smiled, his heart feeling lighter. That is the message the world needs, Dhruv. In Kaliyug, people must remember that they have the power to make a difference, no matter how small their actions seem. The vision faded, and Dhruv found himself back by the river, with Rishi Vyasa by his side. The boy looked up at the sage and said, I will be a guiding star, just as I was before. Whenever people look up, they will remember that hope and goodness are always within reach. The sage blessed Dhruv, and soon, the story of Kaliyug and Dhruv's promise spread far and wide. It became a tale told by grandfathers to their curious grandchildren, like Ayan, reminding them that no matter how challenging the age might be, the choice to be kind, truthful, and compassionate is always in their hands. Kaliyug may be an age of challenges, but it is also an age of choice. Each act of kindness and truth, no matter how small, can bring light to the darkness.